Most people think Richmond is a cool for now city. Like, yeah, I'll live there for a couple of years. That's where they get it wrong. Richmond is a slow burn, roots in your chest city. The kind that sneaks up on you while you're standing on Belle Isle, shoes off, river loud, sunscreen and brewery hops in the air, realizing this somehow became a normal Tuesday. You know it's real when you stop asking, is the river too high today? And you just check Instagram to see who's already out there. You don't fall for Richmond because of one big thing. You fall for it because of what your life starts doing here. And that's what this video is really about. Not tourist stuff, not highlight reels. It's the 30 things people actually do that quietly decide whether Richmond fits you or sends you packing. Richmond doesn't audition for you. It doesn't sell itself. You either get it or it quietly grows on you until one day you realize you've rearranged your life around it. A lot of people arrive with an exit strategy, 6 months, a reset, somewhere to breathe before the next move. And then it's a random Tuesday, you're parked by Belle Isle, shoes off, feet gritty from the rocks, that river smell still on your hands, and it hits you. Oh, this is actually my life now. That's Richmond. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it just starts showing up in the same small ways over and over until those moments become your routine. You stop planning what to do and realize you keep ending up in the same places without trying. This isn't the top 10 version. This is how people actually live here. Real days, real night, and it all starts in one place that sets the tone for everything else. Richmond doesn't orbit downtown, it orbits the James River. And once you live here, you realize this isn't an outdoor amenity. It's the backbone of how people decompress, socialize, and reset their brains after work. Kayaking or tubing the James isn't some once a summer plan you hype about. This is a Tuesday decision. Laptop closed, paddle in the trunk, gone. There are very few cities where you can hit legit class 3 and 4 whitewater rapids 5 minutes after clocking out and still be home in time to shower and meet friends for dinner. That alone changes how you think about what a workday even is. Hanging out on Belle Isle is less, let's go do something, and more, this is where we ended up. Shoes off, feet dusty from the rocks, that river smell stuck on your hands. You hear the water before you see it. Some days it's buzzing, other days it's quiet enough that you forget you're in a city at all. And then you walk back across the bridge and you're downtown again like nothing just happened. The pedestrian bridges and river trails aren't workout routes here. They're how people move through their day. Morning walks, midday clears your head laps, sunset loops that accidentally turn into an hour. And if you want the real local rhythm, you hit the North Bank and Buttermilk Trail Loop, where runners, dog walkers, and people just thinking all share the same dirt like an unspoken agreement. Pony pasture is where it clicks for a lot of people. This isn't a park you visit, it's a park you build habits around. Weekday evenings are calm. Weekends get busy and locals know that timing matters. One of my clients swore they were not outdoorsy until a random after-work stop here turned into a weekly ritual they now protect like therapy. And here's the part people don't talk about enough. The James River Park system is over 500 acres, running straight through the city. And it's not just pretty, it's powerful. There's a reason homes closer to the river consistently hold value better here. Proximity isn't a flex, it's a lifestyle multiplier that shows up in how people actually live. If this kind of day-to-day access matters to you, this is where getting local guidance matters. I'm the local Richmond realtor of choice, and I help people line up their home with the lifestyle they actually want to live, not just the one that looks good online. If you're thinking about moving here or figuring out where you fit, call me, text me, email me. My information is in the description, and I'll help you get clear before you make a move. After the river adrenaline, this is where Richmond exhales, because the real flex isn't that you can go hard outside, it's that you don't have to. The city is stitched together with green space in a way that quietly resets your nervous system without you scheduling anything. The Buttermilk and North Bank Trail Loop is a great example. This isn't a gear up, drive somewhere, make a day of it trail. This is where people disappear for 45 minutes after work and come back acting like better humans. You hear bikes clicking on over gravel, shoes brushing leaves, the river rushing, just loud enough to drown out your inbox. It's shaded, it's rugged in spots, and it never feels manicured in a fake way. Then you've got Maymont, and locals don't treat it like a one and done attraction. It's stroller walks, first dates that turn into second dates, kids chasing geese, quiet solo laps when your brain needs to calm down. You smell damp grass after the rain. You hear peacocks yelling like they own the place. Nobody's in a rush there, which is kind of the point. Bird Park and the lakes are the opposite energy. Flat, open, easy. Morning walkers doing the same loop they've done for years. Dogs pulling their owners towards the water. Sun bouncing off of Shields Lake in that blinding, peaceful way that makes you forget what time it is. This is where routines get built. And here's why this all actually shows up in daily life and not just highlight reels. A majority of Richmond residents live within about 10 minutes of a walk to parks or green space. So clearing your head doesn't require a plan or a drive. You just go. This is the kind of city where a quick walk turns into a 2-hour mental reset, and nobody's surprised when you're late to dinner because you lost track of time outside. Drop in the comments which one you're grabbing first if you lived here. Trails, gardens, or lakes. Richmond's food scene doesn't flex. It doesn't beg for national attention. It just quietly wins people over and then refuses to let them leave. This is not a special occasion reservation city. This is a what do you want for dinner tonight city. Food here is part of the routine, not the reward. And that's why people moving from bigger metros get caught off guard. They expect trendy. They end up with loyalty. Carytown is the obvious entry point. You don't come here with a plan. You park, you walk, you follow your nose. Pizza grease folded into a napkin. Iced coffee sweating through the cup. You pop into one spot, then somehow 3 more happen. It's casual, it's unpretentious, and no one's rushing you out because the whole street moves at that same pace. But the real story is the neighborhood staples, the places people swear by, the spots that don't need to reinvent themselves because they already earned trust years ago. And that loyalty shows up differently depending on where you live in the fan. It's walkable comfort spots you hit twice a week. In Bellevue, it's the same table every Sunday morning. And in Churchill, it's bakeries and corner restaurants that quietly become part of your daily rhythm. Most locals eat within their own neighborhood on weeknights, not across town, and that's by design. People move here for jobs. They stay because they accidentally found their place, their booth, their order, their spot. All right, now we shift gears. Same city, totally different tempo. Richmond goes from daytime chill to nighttime hum without even trying too hard. Breweries here aren't destinations, they're connectors, social glue, the place you land when no one wants the night to be over, but no one wants a plan either. Scott's Addition is the nucleus, not because it's trendy, but because it's dense on purpose. You can park once, maybe twice if you mess up, and then everything happens on foot. Concrete under your shoes, roll up, garage doors open, the low rumble of conversation spilling out into the street. Someone always saying one more and then we'll head out, knowing full and well that's a lie. A lot of it lives inside old brick warehouse buildings that used to be industrial space, which is why the whole area still feels gritty instead of polished. Scott's Addition has one of the highest concentrations of breweries per square mile anywhere in Virginia, which is why nights here feel spontaneous instead of planned. Daytime here feels almost wholesome. These spots become default meeting points, first dates, team celebrations, random Tuesday decompression. One stat explains why it works. A huge share of Richmonders live within 15 to 20-minute drive of their go-to brewery or cidery, which is why these places show up weekly, Not once a season. They're not special events. They're part of the rhythm. Neighborhoods in Richmond don't announce themselves. They reveal themselves over time. Where you end up grabbing coffee without thinking, which corner you slow down at, who you keep running into. This is the layer where the city stops being a list of things to do and starts feeling personal. In the Fan and the Museum District, life runs on foot. Stoops batter, sidewalks batter, you hear screens slam, bikes roll by, dogs lose their mind over squirrels. Brick that still holds the day's heat under your shoes, coffee steam hitting your face before you're fully awake. It's dense without feeling crowded. People don't go out as much as they drift. Coffee turns into lunch. A quick walk turns into a full loop around the neighborhood. More than half of the city's residents live within about 10 minutes walk of a park, trail, or green space, which is why spontaneity here feels normal instead of aspirational. On top of that, average daily trips in these neighborhoods stay under 20 minutes door to door, so life stacks instead of stretching out. Walkable, amenity-heavy areas like this consistently score higher for perceived quality of life because daily routines happen naturally instead of being scheduled. Churchill shifts the tempo, slower, more intentional, brick sidewalks, church bells in the distance, views that stop you mid-conversation. People here don't rush their days, they curate them. Bakeries become morning anchors. Corner spots become quiet constants. You feel the weight of history, but not in a museum way. More like the neighborhood has memory. Pull back a little and the rhythm changes again. In Short Pump, Midlothian, and Mechanicsville, hangouts look different. Art doesn't stay in its lane here. It leaks into daily life. You don't go to the arts district. You run into creativity on the way to do something else, and it reroutes your whole day. Murals show up where you're not expecting them. Brick walls, alley corners, the side of the corner store you've driven past 100 times. Paint still slightly chalky to the touch. Colors loud enough to stop traffic, quiet enough to feel personal. This city has hundreds of public murals, and new ones keep appearing because the creative economy here isn't centralized, it's distributed. That's the difference. Art isn't gated, it's ambient. Music works the same way. You might catch a band warming up inside the National before doors even open. Richmond consistently punches above its weight for live music, with dozens of active venues and pop-up spaces feeding local talent year-round. Not touring only, homegrown. And then there's the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, which quietly changes how culture fits into your life here. General admission is free. Always, that one detail flips everything. You don't plan a museum day. You pop in for 20 minutes. You wander a gallery. You reset your brain. VMFA pulls in over 1 million visitors in a year, which tells you this isn't niche culture. It's everyday life. Locals treat it like a park with climate control. That kind of access creates repeat habits, not special occasions. Studies on cultural participation show free, frictionless access dramatically increases how often people engage, and this city proves it daily. The creative energy here also doesn't ask for permission. It's DIY by default. Once you clock that art and music don't live on stages here, everything else makes sense. There's a moment every year when you realize your calendar isn't yours anymore. You open it up and it's just full. Not because you planned anything, because the city did it for you. One weekend, it's Browns Island, and the riverfront isn't background noise anymore. It's packed. Blankets on the grass, kids chasing bubbles, music floating across the water while the skyline just watches. Usually late October, when the air finally cools off and everyone pretends they don't mind the crowds anymore, by the time you realize how big it is, you're already in it. The Folk Festival alone pulls in 200,000 people over a single weekend, and the wild part is how normal that feels once you're there. First Fridays roll through every month like clockwork. Pop-ups, markets, art walks, food vendors setting up before you've finished your coffee. You don't block off your day, you wander into it. By the time the last song fades and people start drifting back toward their cars or bikes or the river trail, something clicks. All that everyday creativity you've been bumping into all year doesn't disappear. It concentrates, it syncs up, it gets loud for a minute. History here doesn't sit behind glass, it moves at walking speed. You feel it first under your feet. The canal walk runs quiet and steady, water sliding past old stone walls while the city hums just out of reach. You're not reading plaques. You're watching joggers pass, couples drifting, and sounds of water doing its thing. This stretch alone traces back more than 200 years of industrial and transportation history, and it still works as part of daily life. That's the trick. The past isn't preserved here, it's integrated. Shift a few blocks and the energy changes. Shockoe slip and Shockoe bottom lean into it hard. Brick everywhere. Narrow streets, old warehouses repurposed just enough to stay useful. Late afternoon light bouncing off the buildings, delivery trucks squeezing through spaces never designed for modern traffic. This is one of the oldest commercial areas in the city, and you feel that age in the layout. Nothing optimized, everything layered. History didn't get erased, it got stacked. Hollywood Cemetery lands in a completely different way. No hushed voices, dogs on leashes, people sitting on hills, mid-conversation pauses when the view opens up over the river and the skyline slides into frame. Founded in the 1800s and stretching across 135 acres, it's equal parts memorial, park, and pause button, especially on a quiet Sunday morning when the fog lifts slow and the city feels like it's holding its breath for a second. And the tone matters. This isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It's weight without heaviness, presence without performance. The city didn't rush to reinvent itself, and because of that, it kept something most places lose: memory. One of the most overlooked things about Richmond is how naturally different stages of life overlap. Nothing feels segmented. Kids don't get pushed to the edge of the city, and adults don't disappear once family life shows up. Strollers roll past patios. Parents rotate playground duty without dropping out of real conversations. You don't age out of fun here, and you don't have to give yourself a new personality. Places like Maymont work because they're big enough to absorb everyone at once. Kids running, parents sitting back for a minute, no pressure to entertain every second. Movement in Richmond doesn't feel like a program. It feels like a byproduct of how the city works. Early mornings, the river trail is already active. Runners threading past each other, head nods instead of hellos. Paddle boards sliding into the James while the water's still glassy. Cyclists crossing bridges before traffic wakes up. By midday, it shifts. Pickup games form without announcements. Someone drops a bag, someone brings a ball. That's it. Evenings stretch longer. One more loop because the light's still good. One more walk because the air finally cooled off. There's structure if you want it. Life here quietly unlocks flexibility. You don't have to commit to one version of a weekend. Friday hits and the question isn't, what should we do? It's which direction? West gets you elevation, cooler air, trails before lunch. East gets you salt air, wind, sand between your toes. North gets you museums, concerts, pro sports, louder energy. And then you come back. That return matters. These trips don't feel like escapes from your life. They feel like extensions of it. All 30 of these things sound fun on their own, but the point isn't the list. It's how they stack. Most cities give you highlights. Richmond gives you patterns. Weekdays that don't feel rushed, routines that don't feel heavy. Most daily trips stay short enough that your time actually feels like yours. Life here doesn't get outsourced to special plans. It happens in between. After work, before dinner, on accident. A quick walk turns into a sunset. A casual stop becomes your regular spot. And when people ask, is Richmond a good place to live? What they're really asking is, will my days feel better here? Not louder, not flashier, just better. Richmond doesn't win you over in one big moment. It earns you by stacking good days until you stop thinking about leaving. And if you're trying to figure out whether this place fits your life, that's where I come in. I'm a native Richmonder and a relocation specialist. And when you reach out, you're talking to me. No handoffs, no scripts, just real conversation about pace, priorities, and daily life. Call me, text me, email me, grab a time on my calendar. My information is in the description. And if this video clicked, the playlist link below breaks down where this lifestyle actually lives on the map.